Welcome to the first and maybe only episode of Counter-Strike Cop, a series where I passive-aggressively air out my Counter-Strike grievances in a style reminiscent of a smarter, more popular, and handsome content creator.
What are you, fucking gay? This is fun!
So, today's topic at hand? Is CSGO dying? Well, if things continue as they are, it very well might. Now, as clickbaity as the title and subject may seem, I'm genuinely serious when I say that for the first time in quite a while, I'm actually worried about the future of CSGO. And you should be too. As many of you have undoubtedly noticed, cheating is again on the rise, as Prime matchmaking has become little more than a wooden fence attempting to hold back the incoming storm. Of course, while cheaters and boosters have always been a cancer plaguing CSGO in general, we are again starting to see a resurgence in the amount of cheating, rivaling that of Cheatopia in 2016. Literally half of my games this week have had one or more blatant cheaters either boosting a friend or cheating together, essentially giving themselves diplomatic immunity in the rare event of an actual vote kick. And granted, those are just the obvious ones. Every other game I've been in seems to have had some sort of CSGO savant, making extremely shady plays that always seem to somehow work out. Like, look at this. With only 2,000 hours, this dude has over 14,000 games with an 82% win rate. In comparison, under my 1,200 hours spent on my main account, I've only played a little over 4,000 games with a 39% win rate. Yeah, but you suck! Fair point, fair point. So, let's compare this to players from the current number 1 rated CSGO Pro team in 2017. Even convicted cheaters don't have that kind of win rate, but who knows. Maybe this dude is some undiscovered talent waiting for just the right team before taking them to the ESL Championship. Still, you'd think a player of this caliber would be a bit better than a B+ player on ESCA, but whatever, use Occam's razor. So, by now, I think most people understand how cheating is detrimental to CSGO, and how it affects everyone regardless of rank. But just in case you needed a quick refresher, cheating decreases legitimate players, and directly increases the amount of cheaters. This decreases the player base overall, and also increases Smurfs. Smurfs chase away potential new players, and thus inhibit the game's growth. Regression in the new player base equals stagnation. Stagnation over time plus rampant cheating equals dying game. Still, cheating alone isn't what worries me about the future of CSGO. But it certainly does play a major part of the problem. While obviously cheating discourages many people from playing CSGO, as even I of late have been thinking to myself, why do I even play this fucking game? Most of the time, CSGO bounces back with the addition of a new weapon, operation, or service to lure players back into the fray. Unfortunately, the TAC-21, if not already scrapped, is probably nowhere near release, and Operation Hydra is still in effect, meaning no new operation for at least another year. And matchmaking Prime has already become laughably useless, and doesn't seem to be receiving any new updates to increase its protection. All of which means CSGO will continue to bleed its new player base if cheaters continue to grow unchecked. Now, I already know what some of you are going to say. Dude, it's MM, of course it's cancer, just play on ESC or face it, bro. And yes, while those services strangely but hilariously still offer better anti-cheat in-game servers than the company that created the damn game, third-party services like ESCA and the like are mostly geared towards veteran players, meaning most new players to Counter-Strike are probably not going to pay that extra monthly fee to download an extra client just to play CSGO with a smaller amount of cheaters. And as I explained earlier, new players are paramount for a game's continued survival. Look at it this way. Steam Spy recently released a tweet pointing out that 55% of PUBG owners are CSGO players who used to play CSGO 50% more than the average player, and now they play 30% less. Nowhere is this more noticeable than on Twitch, especially if you've been checking in with the top CSGO streamers, who are now more or less spending more time playing PUBG. So if cheating inhibits new player growth and PUBG takes away from veteran playtime, where does that leave CSGO?
CSGO's dead.
Now you can see why this has me concerned. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. Competition is good. PUBG should finally give Valve some incentive to actually release new content, or improve the game.
Absolutely
wrong.
Proved.
As many people have pointed out, Valve makes 25 to 30% of the income when a copy of PUBG is sold on Steam. Not to mention that they also take a cut from the PUBG items sold on the Steam marketplace. Meaning, PUBG is not actual competition in a way that would hurt Valve's profits or bottom line, but it is competition in the worst way, as it does still take away from CSGO's veteran player base.
I'm literally like shaking.
Hell, even if there was relevant outside competition that rivaled CSGO, there's absolutely no guarantee that Valve would step up to the challenge and actually improve their game.
Counter-Strike's dead. Dead game.
In fact, we have evidence to the contrary with TF2. Seriously, look at TF2 now. They literally have children developing their game. But jokes aside, a year ago if you had asked me if Overwatch would overtake and eventually kill TF2, I would have laughed it off and shook my head. But look at the state of things now. Valve could have at least put up a decent fight, but they really dropped the ball with TF2, and essentially allowed their competitive matchmaking scene to die in its infancy. That, combined with the recent death of HL3, should be proof enough that no Valve IP is safe from the gaming Grim Reaper. Of course, while those particular IP deaths had their own separate circumstances, it still serves as a reminder that no IP is too big to eventually fail. In my honest opinion, unlike previous cheat waves, if Valve doesn't do anything new to rectify the current problems, the game will slowly begin to die, as this will be the future of CSGO players. This has to be a parody account. It's too perfect. Nope, this dude actually has multiple cheating accounts with the same ESEA profile picture. Oh, but I'm sure he would never cheat on ESEA though. Just think about that for a second. With 13 different accounts, this dude spent at least $100 to cheat at an online video game. Takes a certain kind of special, I guess. Anyways, fuckboys aside, so what can Valve do to improve CSGO and avoid the cheat apocalypse? At this point it might be easier to ask, what can't they do? 128 tick, improve Prime, improve VAC, intrusive VAC, incentivize Overwatch, hardware bans, community liaison, etc, etc, etc. For fuck's sake, none of these are new ideas, as there have literally been thousands of threads dedicated solely to the subject of improving CSGO. But apparently because of how the company is structured, there are no dedicated CSGO developers, as the devs are essentially free to move from game to game, all depending on how they feel. Of course, that's just conjecture, nobody really knows, but it sure would explain the lack of developmental awareness and acknowledgement on the updates that do somehow make it through. I mean, they already changed the Negev to something straight out of TF2.
Grab some more.
I mean, it's getting to the point where even China has better services for CSGO.
China?
For those of you out of the loop, Alipay is a credit system which is directly linked to the player's phone number, banking account, and personal identification. So, if they get banned, they either have to become someone else or play offline forever.
China. I go to China.
Honestly, with how bad things are at the present moment, I would even pay for a similar system linked with Amazon Prime. Think about it. You can already link your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, so why not CSGO? Really, how hard would it be to change the name to Amazon Prime Matchmaking? Okay, I'm sure there are probably multiple business reasons why Valve wouldn't go for it.
Not on my watch! Not on my watch!
But something similar to the Alipay system would definitely help. Unfortunately, in all my years of playing Counter-Strike, I honestly don't think Valve will do much of anything besides continue to milk the Counter-Strike franchise until it's nothing more than dust and bones. Yet there is some hope left, as Valve allegedly manually banned all of the accounts owned by a cheating YouTuber last week. If true, manual bans could actually do a lot of good for the competitive community, as most private cheats remain undetected for years, and may actually last forever. I mean, I still have this blatant spin botter on here from almost a year ago, and they'll probably still remain unbanned for years to come. But if manual bans do become a thing, we'll surely be seeing a lot more CSGO videos exposing cheaters, and more importantly, boosters and boosties. Of course, this comes with its own set of unique challenges like proof of burden, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Speaking of which, if you don't trust my 10 years of Counter-Strike experience in identifying cheaters, you can check out the demos I've used for yourself in the description box below. In fact, I highly encourage you to do so and perhaps tweet me with your analysis. In conclusion, cheating will certainly always be a thing, but it's the current combination of compounding issues that has me worried about the game's longevity. As much as I like to rip on Valve and CSGO, I obviously love playing the game and support the company. In fact, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be making this video. But I just don't think Valve takes cheating seriously enough. Or at least not in the United States.
China!
CSGO, it seems, will always remain the unwanted stepchild in the shadow of Dota 2. And if cheating is akin to cancer in CSGO, Valve would be the negligent parent who refuses to authorize chemotherapy. But hey, what do I know? Maybe this will all blow over. You know, once the CSGO card game is released. Subscribe to
Find the strongest ego.